Yeah, Frame Raider.
In Japanese, the word Tomodachi refers to a friend. The words Tamago and Yoshi refers to egg and watch. Combine the two words together to create Tamagotchi, a virtual pet and friend. Feed them, play games, get points, and then spend those points at the shop for toys that they can play with. A Tamagotchi makes for a fun little companion that you could take with you anywhere. They grow up in a matter of days, so there's always something new to discover, keeping the user engaged with the device. Tamagotchis will evolve differently depending on how you take care of them. The key roles here would be maintaining their health, tend to their needs like selecting the toilet option when they need to be cleaned, give them a meal when they're hungry, play a game with them when they're sad. They don't usually give off warnings of their mood, instead you have to occasionally check with the scale option. Tamagotchis could never replace a real-life pet, however they're a great introduction to the concept without the familiar hassles that come with maintaining one.
So, it's kind of hard to take care of a real pet, so...
When they need you, they'll be sure to let you know by playing a distinct sound characterized by this need. If at any time you're busy or can't take care of your Tamagotchi, simply pause it by holding the first two of 3 buttons. Established in 1996 by Bandai Toys, Tamagotchis became a worldwide phenomenon, achieving global popularity in the early 2000s. As of today, they've sold close to 100 million units. These devices used 30-pixel dot matrix screens powered by a CR2032 watch battery. The specifications were simple, allowing the user to keep their Tamagotchi actively running for months. Even when the battery did give out, you could simply remove the back plastic and put in another. The unit will remember your progress and restore it to your new battery. Tamagotchis are still on the market today but have since evolved in a more modern direction. Today, we're just considering the concept which started it all. The original Tamagotchi sold well among all walks of people, however they manufactured what would be considered the male counterpart a year later, known as the digital monster. This concept further evolved into what became the Digimon series. While that was becoming its own individual franchise, Tamagotchi stayed true to their original purpose throughout the years, although they did tackle other forms of digital media with the example of its animated series in Japan, as well as their various console games. There are countless examples of 2000s toys that were wildly successful for a time, but these would usually fizzle out into obscurity.
You may not want to leave RoboQuad home alone.
Some would even attempt to clone the idea, as Tamagotchi was by many different toy companies. Everything has a lifespan though, and over the years Tamagotchi has fallen out of the mainstream eye. Still, the concept has proven solid enough to sustain its own niche, saving it from the same fate that most 2000s toys have experienced at this point. Let's take a closer look at a Tamagotchi and discover what it has to offer. These are the V4.5 models. Each different Tamagotchi revision will retain the same basic concept, however they would have new items, games, more potential characters, and forms of interactivity. For example, V4 introduced the ability to get an education and eventually a job. The differences between models would render them slightly less compatible with each other through the Tamagotchi connection. This was the way in which 2 Tamagotchis could interact with each other. It was relatively simple, although you could do basic things like play games and send presents. If you were using 2 different versions to interact, it would still work. However, your character would be defaulted to the Nazochi Postman character. I grew up with a V4 Tamagotchi. After seeing how much fun I was having with it, my sister got her own Tamagotchi. This was a V4.5. Jealous of the new features, combined with my desire to interact with hers using my own Tamagotchi character, I decided to get my own V4.5. This one came in the Tamagotchi PC pack, which had an interactive CD-ROM, microphone shaped like a tree, small character figures, and a mouse pad. I no longer own this set, but I do have the small character figures. These 4 were more or less Tamagotchi's mascots. There was Mamechi, Kuchi, Memchi, and Violetchi. On a V4.5 Tamagotchi, you have 9 options from the menu. You can move the option with button 1, enter a selection with button 2, and cancel with button 3. The first selection resembles a scale, which is used to determine the Tamagotchi's current stats. The second resembles a turnip, which is used to select a meal or snack for them to eat. The third resembles a toilet, which you'd select to get rid of their business. The fourth resembles a bat. This is the activity menu where you can play games, use items, or go shopping for more. The fifth resembles a heart with a send-off indication, which contains options to communicate with other Tamagotchis via infrared connection. Alternatively, the option is used to send your Tamagotchis to work. The sixth looks like Pac-Man. This selection lets you praise or discipline. You won't often use this, but it's necessary when your Tamagotchi gets into one of 2 specific moods. That mood is determined on the bottom right of the screen, where it shows a combined happy-angry face. That 10th icon cannot be interacted with, and is only an indication for this purpose. The 7th resembles a first aid kit, which you'll select if the Tamagotchi gets sick. This can happen naturally or after giving them one too many snacks. The 8th resembles a letter. Occasionally your Tamagotchi will get mail, and this acts more like a notification system. You can get hired to work through the mail, and get greetings from strangers whom you will never meet, but it makes your Tamagotchi happy no less. The 9th resembles an open book. Here you can learn about your family history. When your Tamagotchi is a child, you'll be the one to take on the parenting role. This can happen earlier by building a relationship through multiple connections with another Tamagotchi, but if this never happens, a matchmaker will eventually come by for you. Once the newly born Tamagotchi takes over, your previous pet will become no more than a still image in your history, which is depressing, but such is life. You'll start with just one game to play, but as they evolve you'll unlock more. Games get you points which can be spent on cool new items and food. Many of these can't be used until your Tamagotchi has grown into an adult. For example, roller skates. Wait, why does he need to be an adult? There's also this shirt. I guess it's an adult-sized shirt? Rationally, I'm guessing this saved the developers from making detailed character sprites for each Tamagotchi child variation. It would already be a lot of work designing them for the adults. A lot of items are one-time uses. These are usually gambling items, such as a plant or treasure chest. You might win some points from it, or you might find a snake. And you don't want that, because it'll make your Tamagotchi upset. Is it all worth the risk? You decide. There's one mysterious item called the UFO which costs 50,000 points. That's a lot to collect. I've had it before, and I recall it being underwhelming. Thankfully, there exists footage of it on YouTube. It would let you travel to a couple exotic places and different fantasy worlds. Unlimited vacations would no doubt be expensive. However, to my recollection, visualizing the character get inside the UFO and arriving at the location was all you'd ever experience with this thing. So it was kind of a waste of your points, really. There's more I could say about the Tamagotchi, although a lot of this would be specific to this version 4.5 model. Not only that, but it's not easy to record these tiny screens. There don't appear to exist any methods of emulating these toys either. A lot of Tamagotchi events rely on random chance, so unless I were to have my camera sitting in front of my Tamagotchi all day, it'd be very difficult to demonstrate everything. If you've never played with a Tamagotchi before, hopefully this gave you a basic rundown of what they were and what you could do with them. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to join our newly revamped Discord server where you can chat with many like-minded nostalgia fans. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you Frame Raiders in the next video.